right now, and you'll be able to find this lesson a little bit later on today on my website. So it says right at the top, addition methods. It says to make a ballpark estimate. Raise your hand if you remember about ballpark estimates. Okay, hands down please. Seeing a lot of hands, that's good. You want to write a number model to show your estimate. And they've kind of done that right here. You see this number model? They've looked at what the numbers were, and then they made a ballpark estimate. Choose at least 2 problems to solve using the partial sums method. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what is the partial sums method, because that's what's going to be on your home link. Okay, and it's home link 2.7, and this is what you'll take home with you today and work on tonight. Okay, and I would like you to try this method. If you find it too confusing and you already know how to add a way that always works for you, you can do that after you've done at least 3 of these problems. Okay, but I really would like you to try it. It's actually a pretty neat method, and it's got it helps you think about it in some good ways. So I'm going to show it to you. You'll notice, which is really good about today's lesson, that what we're doing in the book and the home link look pretty similar. So if you pay attention to how I'm showing you to do this today in your book and follow along with the example, then when you go to do your home link, it should be a lot easier for you. So with that, we're going to take a look at the partial sums method. Okay, so let's just look at what they did with this problem. So the problem started out 329 plus 418. Does that make sense to you guys? Can I get a thumbs up or a thumb sideways or a thumbs down? All right. Thank you. Mrs. Kimball, does it look like mostly thumbs up? Okay, thank you. All right. So when we look at partial sums, we're talking about place value. How many of you have heard the word place value before? Raise your hand if you heard place value. Mrs. Kimball, about how many hands? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, place value. All right, and place value is whether it's a 1, whether it's a 10, whether it's 100, it's what place it falls in the number, right? So when we look at partial sums, we look at the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. And we could even go thousands and 10,000s, but we're not going to go way up there today. Okay, we don't need to do all of that. But you see what they did here? They looked at this like, oh, this is 300, and this is 400. So it's kind of like 329 is 300 plus 20 plus 9. You see that? And then 418 is sort of like 400 plus 10 plus 8. So they broke it down into each place value, and that's what happened here. They did 300 plus 400, and they got 700. And then they did 10 plus 20, and they got 30. And then they did 9 plus 8, and they got 17. And so then they did 700 plus 30 plus 17, and they got 747. Okay, so that's basically how they did that problem. They broke it down into hundreds, tens, and ones, and then they added it all up. The one thing that I really like about this method is it helps you be able to do math a little bit better in your head. For those of you who like to try to do it in your head a little bit, it helps give you a bigger way to think about the problem, a different way to think about the problem than just looking at all these different numbers here. Okay, and remember, when you go to make your ballpark estimate, it's just got to be close as you can get. And they've estimated right to the hundreds. So if you want to go ahead and estimate to the hundreds, that would be fine. If you want to estimate to the tens, that would be fine too. Either way will work. So for what we're going to do today. So this is partial sums addition method, and I'm going to turn the lesson off, and I'm going to come back to me on the camera.